August 23rd, 2018 meeting of the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission is a 9-member board appointed by the City Council and serves on a volunteer basis. Please note we have 8 members present tonight. The procedure for conducting business is the petitioner for each item will come forward to the microphone, present his or her request, and answer any questions the members of the Planning Commission may have. Next, anyone for or against the request will be asked to come forward to the microphone and express their opinion. Each side will have a total of 10 minutes. Development plans require a public hearing. However, no action will be taken on by the Planning Commission members. Plats, rezoning, revised master plans, street renaming, and text amendments will require a public hearing. And once the hearing is complete, Planning Commission members will deliberate and render their decision. Planning Commission members with a personal or financial interest in any petitioner's request are required to recuse themselves. Members of the Planning Commission are Kippy Tate, Patrick Moss, Clay McInnes, Cruz Reeves, Jerome Moore, Frank Cook, James Reed, and Buddy Hardwick. Members of and petitioners are requested to please speak directly into the microphone. The minutes are recorded for legal purposes, and this is the only way to accurately pick up audio. Tonight, we have 8 members present, and it will take 8 to pass a motion. 5 to pass a motion, excuse me. Because of the number of members present, if you'd like to delay your request, please let us know when your request is announced. Tommy, we got any changes?
No changes.
All right. Everybody had an opportunity to look at and review the minutes. Are there any additions, corrections, etc.? If not, a motion's in order.
Move to approve. Second.
Move to approve in a second. All those in favor? Okay, Tommy, you want to start with?
First item is presented by 5 Points Cultural.
Excuse me, we did have one change. It was in 7.
Well, yes, all items are scheduled to be heard.
Yeah.
5 Points Cultural Commission requests to rezone 2 lots at 416 and 418 South Goldthwaite Street from T4R Smart Code to T4O Smart Code.
Hey, I'm Chase Fisher, representing 5 Points Cultural Commission. We're looking to rezone 2 lots, one which has a building on it which has always been commercial and was commercial at the time that Smart Code was implemented, as well as the lot directly next to it. And then we work in partnership with the Jubilee Community Center, which is right next door, which really should be zoned T4O as well, but was not initially. So they will have to come and deal with that at some point as well. So just wanted to bring this forward and happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Any member of the Planning Commission have a question?
Yes, good afternoon. You're asking to have what rezoned for your neighbor?
No, so these are both just for us. I was just making the point, if you look what's circled in red right there, below that to the south, that's the Jubilee Community Center.
Okay.
And so it is currently zoned in terms of Smart Code T4R, but that would mean that it's out of its proper zoning currently. But it's been operating that way since Smart Code went into effect.
But the 2 parcels that you're asking to be rezoned are yours that you own?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry for the confusion.
Okay. Anybody else have a question? Y'all, excuse me.
Well, I was just going to say, I have a concern about parking.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, so the items that we are looking at doing there, one, we're going to be acquiring a property just behind the building that goes toward Mobile Street that is going to provide, I think it's about 15 spaces right there. This is a 4-lane road which has very little traffic, and both sides of the street are able to be parked on going up and down. And then additionally, we're developing 2 buildings a little further down that are disabled properties on the corner of Martha and Goldthwaite. And behind those buildings, we're going over and above the parking requirements. That'll be sort of a neighborhood whole type parking area there.
And when do you plan to involve the other lots behind? Why isn't it in this package?
Which ones?
The lots
So
behind it.
the lots down the street are already zoned appropriately, and those have already, the plan for those have already been approved by Planning Commission, and then by all the necessary city departments as well. And then same with the lot behind this building, it's already zoned appropriately for what it'll be used for, and we won't join those together, it'll stay a separate parcel.
You will not join them together in a plat?
Right.
Okay,
I got a question, Mr. Chairman. So am I understanding you to say you've got contiguous lots to what you're asking to be rezoned that you'll want to use for parking,
That's right.
but you won't do a replat this all into one property to make all of that work together?
That's right, because even this that we're looking at today is two separate parcels. And so the one, we're going to keep those as separate parcels. So we may end up developing the one to the north separately down the road, may end up selling it down the road.
How many parking spaces are required for what you're trying to do?
That's a good question. I'll have to ask our
Because
civil engineer
my
on that.
concern is you may have a great idea about what you want to do from a functional perspective, but you may not have enough space to accommodate cars that would support your function. And so, and the lots may not be large enough.
Sure. So I think up and down the street alone, there's probably enough room to accommodate 60 plus vehicles. The lot behind will be 15 additional vehicles. There will be some angled parking in front of the building. That would probably be another 5. And then I think we have a surplus of around 20 additional spots down the street on the other parking lot. So our goal is to go over and above the requirements on any. So we'll be exceeding minimums with any
But you're
development.
counting the parking in the street as part of your tally.
Which is fair, which is allowed in the code.
But I'm saying you're depending on the parking in the street as part of
absolutely.
your gross parking.
Sure.
But at this point in time, in front of that building, there is approximately 4 parking spaces. Is that a fair comment?
4 or 5, sure.
Yeah, 5 if you don't have handicap.
Right.
Okay, so that is definitely a huge, huge issue in this, and I'm concerned, as you are, Kippy. What you're going to have is you're going to still have at the end of this, you're going to have those lots zoned, and I know we're working off into the platting side, not the,
Sure.
but you're still going to have all those lots that if you're going to do anything like a restaurant or a rental retail up there, I mean, I can't imagine that you're not going to have to put those lots together in one plat. And what you're saying is you're not going to do that.
If we need to do that, we can do that.
Yeah.
If that ends up being required in the planning phase.
Okay.
But as far as we've looked at it, with the other parcels, with all the city departments, it is within the code that you're able to count street parking
Yeah,
within direct proximity.
Yeah, we get that.
So-
We get that, but these lots, do you know the dimensions of your lots?
This should be on here.
I'm talking about the ones that you want to park on.
The ones that we want to park on.
Yes, the one you want to utilize for parking.
What's
What's the overall dimensions
the
of?
one behind? I think those are generally about 40 or 50 by 100.
Which one of those lots is, if you can even from there, it
It's
can
hard
even
because
there.
they're all small lots. If you look at the top left end of the red box, there's a house there.
Yeah.
So not the lot directly beside that, but the one directly south of that would
That
be
vacant
one.
one right south of
Right.
the-
Yeah, they're
where the building-
all of those lots behind there are vacant.
Right.
So there's plenty of space there. And really, even if we got into a scenario where hey, there absolutely has to be more parking. Like right now, our plan is to turn the lot to the north that's included in this into a community-oriented park space. But if
Which
we
is-
had to make that parking,
Which is this right here.
that's right. That's
Okay,
right. We could make that parking.
Yeah.
But I
It
want
doesn't
I want
have much.
I want to get, Mr. Chairman, I need to get an answer to my question. I still don't know how large the lots are that you intend to park on and how many cars you plan to incorporate onto that whatever dimension lot.
So let's say the one behind it is, would be 15 spaces. And if we made the one, directly to the north of it, then, that's, call it another 15 spaces. And then, 5 out in front. So call it, 35 all in.
I hear you're not answering my question. I want to know how large the lots are that you intend to park on.
The one due south of the red building is 0.7 acres, and the one...
That's not my question. My question is it 20 by 50? Is it 10 by 30? Because that's going to have a direct bearing on how many cars you park on those lots.
Sure.
And the configuration of it. And I'm just trying to get some idea about this parking scenario that you're trying to tell us. That's all.
Sure. Do you know what the required number of parking for this building
This is not my item, sir. I'm asking questions.
Kippy,
Yes.
the lot he was originally talking about is 50 by 110.
Okay. That's what I'm asking.
Okay.
And you got 2 of them that's that size, right?
The next one to the north, that's next to the house, is about 40 by 100.
Now, how many cars can you get on that lot? He just told me 15 and 15, 30 cars.
Yeah, that's been an estimate that our architects have, laid out and looked at.
I'm just going by what you tell me. So 30 cars can get on that lot.
Sure, and then call it 5 in front of the building, or, maybe between both lots, 10 spaces there. You do angle parking.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Tommy or
believe it.
Tanya, I have just a question that y'all might be able to answer. We're trying to approve a request for rezoning from general urban restricted to general urban open. I think everybody in Montgomery wants downtown to develop and develop smartly, and I think that's why the SMART code was developed. I think we're here to try to protect anybody that putting this type of establishment across the street from them might damage. You've got a couple of homeowners across the street, a couple of businesses, another business south, and maybe a business or 2 north, but 5 Points has always been a hub that would probably go retail. If we approve the zoning today from general urban, zoned restricted to general urban open, do any of the residents have another opportunity to vote up or down any of the proposed plans that they might come forth with once they have the zoning to do business there?
We go to the CRC for compliance. If they comply, they get the green light.
And let me just speak to that also, if I can.
Sure, go ahead.
This whole process has really been about a 3-year process, and a big part of that, we got a grant from a national organization, it's a nonprofit development group doing this, Art Place America, that contributed to it, and then a local foundation matched those funds. So it's been a really big deal to us to engage the community in this whole process. So we had a community fish fry to engage people, look at the plans from the very beginning, let people give feedback on what the architecture looks like, what we're going to put in those spaces, down to specific tenants. Our entire board that's on this nonprofit development group is a neighborhood board. So all of these things are done in concert with the community. That's one of the things that we really want to do differently from the way that development's done in downtown a lot of times, is for it to be community-led and directed and to make sure that it's going to benefit the community. So there's nothing in here that's a surprise to anyone that lives around.
So at the end of the day, though, Tommy, what you're saying is that this board will not ever see this again beyond the rezoning.
That's correct.
This is the last opportunity for any suggestions.
That's what the SMART code allows.
I understand, but I mean, the platting, there won't be any, that it won't be coming. The development plan, there won't be any.
Plat would have to have a public hearing, but the development plan, no, it would not come.
Hey,
It
but
wouldn't come now.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to recuse myself. Can I go to the podium?
Yeah, absolutely,
It
absolutely.
wouldn't come now as a SMART code.
I'm sorry?
It would, the development plan would not come now as a smart code if he's not even seeking a change of
Right.
zoning.
You hear the concern of the parking, and that's the thing that keeps, it's gonna keep this thing alive, and if we're not gonna ever see it again, then,
I understand, but, you know, the smart code, one of the
that doesn't
tenets of
mean
it is
that,
it's pedestrian oriented.
listen, I'm gonna always bring this up as I pointed out. I remember also the same situation happening on Fairview, and we messed up there, the zoning that we did, and that's why I'm making a point that parking is an issue. There is no question about it. And I think that's what Kippy's saying.
If I can speak to that again, though, I mean, again, we meet all city requirements on parking and go over and above that.
I hear you.
So, this is a problem in downtown across the board. We figure out ways to make it work. You know, so I mean, if you look around this neighborhood, we've got just open land. You know, even the houses that are across the street are vacant. So there is a plethora of parking that is already permitted and that we're able to count towards our requirements. So all that's met. So that's where I guess I'm having a hard time understanding how are we held to a higher standard, which we're already
No,
exceeding.
nobody's asking
Nobody's
you.
holding you
No,
to a
come
higher
on.
standard.
My question to you is how many parking spaces are required?
And I do not know the answer to that.
So how do you know if you met the standard? If you don't, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
But the planning commission who's over that can't answer the question either. I mean,
Oh, I
anybody
can tell
who
you,
answer
I
the
just
question
told
is
you you ain't got enough parking space. I just told you that.
Kippy,
What?
can I answer a question?
Sure.
To answer your question, as far as smart code requirements, is 3 spaces per 1,000 square feet of building.
Yeah, and so my name's Clay McInnes. I'm Planning Commission, but I'm recusing myself because I'm helping lease this property. I know Kippy and others on the commission are concerned about parking. This building is 2,300 square feet. So based off what Tanya said and the requirements, this isn't going to be, you know, a Walmart of people. And then as far as fire code goes, I mean, we're talking about a small establishment here. We're not talking about a strip mall. So as far as the use, I understand the concerns, but also I kind of want to defend the size and the scope of the property to be used for what it is, to activate the community in the Five Points neighborhood.
I want to make something clear because it seems as though we may be looking at this. My friend thinks that we're holding him to a higher standard. This is a rezoning. So when you bought the property, you knew what it was on when you bought it, right? So there is a standard you have to meet, in my mind, to rezone any property, not just the ones that you're talking about. So what I want to tell you is we're asking questions for the benefit of our knowledge to make some kind of decision, not to penalize you or put you in a box. So don't walk away thinking that that's the issue. I want you to understand that, first of all.
Sure.
When it comes to parking, I don't care how many square feet per whatever, these are houses across the street that could be vacant, that could be bought and used as what? Residences. Is that correct?
Sure.
So that's why I'm concerned about parking when you say you want to park on the street, to use that as a count for your parking, and these could be single-family residences across the street.
Sure, but that if you look at the heart of Cloverdale that's thriving,
This
that
is not
happens
Cloverdale.
Well, it's a comparable
This is not Cloverdale. so let's stay on the issue. This is not Cloverdale. This is downtown.
Right. So it should be typically more challenging because it's more dense.
Well, I'm trying to get you to realize that I have a concern about the parking.
I hear you.
And until Tanya chimed in to tell you what the requirements were, you couldn't tell us. So
Right.
we had to quiz you about what you were trying to get across to us.
So that would basically come to 8 spaces required given the square footage of the building.
So why do you need the back lot then for parking?
Well, we'd like it for employee parking that's, not taking up the front-facing spots as well.
Is that lot accessible off of and could get a cut off of Mobile Street?
It is.
It is where you can.
Yes. Yeah, and again, I understand that an outside firm put all these, requirements in place, but this building was a commercial building when this was zoned Smart Code T4R. So it was inaccurately zoned from the beginning. So it's always been commercial.
And that's
the
our
case.
point.
That's what we're trying to tell you.
That's our,
But if you look at the old zoning, it was central business district.
So you're going to use the existing building, and you're
Right.
going to renovate the existing building, and the
Yeah,
existing building is 2,300 square feet.
That's right.
has any work started on that building?
Yeah, the exterior has been renovated, and then pending this, that one did not get.
Who's the pirate?
Say what?
Who's the pirate?
That's our friend Joe Simpson up there put that in there. So, yeah, it's pretty comical.
Tommy, if for some reason it didn't get approved here, does it go straight to the to the city council?
It's their right to appeal, yes.
Goes to appeals to the, upon appeal, it would go to the.
Certainly.
Okay, all right.
Well, my friend, I have no problem with your project. You just couldn't explain the parking, which is
So
okay.
you
Now
still-
we're good.
you
I'm
still-
good now.
all right.
But
going
you're not
to
going to
get
park 30 cars out there, so don't blow smoke. You know what I mean? Just say you don't know.
Right. Well,
Thank you.
My understanding was it was going to be an easy rezoning.
the
I was
po-
hoping
the-
I'd be at the end when everybody was tired, but man.
No, man, just don't think you're going to snowball us. We got some sense up here, you know.
No, I
30 cars is
definitely
not going
believe
to go on that lot. Forget it. You're going to get 8 parking spaces. If that's what you're willing to concede to, I'm willing to vote on it.
that. Yeah, no, we definitely will exceed.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody else have a comment or question? Anybody wish to speak for or against? If not, a motion's in order.
Move to approve.
Second.
Move to approve in a second. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Carries.
All right.
Carries.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next item is by Alfred Barnett, requesting to rezone one parcel on the west side of South Court Street, approximately 350 feet north of Mildred Street, from T4R to T40 Smart.
If you don't mind, Al, do you mind pulling that mic down where you can hear and give your name and address, if you would, please, sir?
Alfred Barnett, 464 South Court Street.
Thank you, sir. You want to tell us about your
I
project,
was
please?
trying to
sir?
rezone that property to T4 retail.
Okay, and do what with it?
I'm the owner of it. I'm trying to do offices and retail space.
All right, sir. Okay. Any questions?
Yes, sir. There was some discussion before this meeting about a flea market. Is that still something on the table?
We scratched that plan.
You scratched the
We
plan. What does that
the
mean, you
flea market.
scratched?
But I will be renting spaces out for people, you know, selling different stuff, and then professional office people
Is this going to be inside the building or out in
Yes,
the
sir.
parking lot or what?
inside.
Okay.
Al, appreciate you letting me step in there today. You know, you heard the conversation we just had,
Yes, sir.
and quite candidly, this one is got the same problems. Because virtually there's about 4 spots up there, 5 maybe up front. There is no designated yet handicap, so you know you're going to lose some of that space. And I did go back to the back end of down the thing, and there's a parking place or 2 maybe down there. If you and I got down there together, I don't know if both of us would be able to get out, and not, especially not at the same time. So that is a real concern. Tommy, I'm going to ask again about the parking. There is virtually no other parking available on South Court Street, because all those lanes, there's not going, is there going to be any changing that anybody knows to where parking's going to be added on South Court?
Well, we attempted to change it to two-way a while back, but it was not very popular, so it's, my understanding it's not, nothing's going to happen there.
So Al, and again, I'm going to ask you the same question that Kiffy did a while ago. What you going to do about parking?
The building you saw next door, you
Yes,
saw
sir.
the parking behind there. I have permission to use that. That's about 10 or 12 spaces. Up front of, in my building, I know I got 8 over there. I know I can put
But I
14
think,
up front easy, up in the front. And then across the street, that big old empty parking lot over there.
yes, sir.
I got permission to use that by the gentleman on the building across the street, the Mission House.
The problem that we have in situations like that
Yes, sir.
is you sell the building and that person that buys it doesn't have those connections and doesn't have those permissions, and now you got a retail building and sitting right there that you know and I know doesn't have enough parking. The building itself.
I say in the front,
Speak into it, I'm
I say in
sorry.
the front of the building, I know I could put at least 12 or 14 right there in the front on my property.
Well,
Directly in the front of the building.
they'd have to be Volkswagen Beetles if you did, because they're in 12, 14. Anyway, I'm just mentioning the fact that's personally my biggest concern.
Yes, sir.
Is there is not parking for retail at that location, in my opinion. So I don't know what the requirements again.
Well, I was about to ask the question, you know, do you know the dimensions of your property?
Do I know the dimensions?
Yes, sir.
I don't have them right here with me at this time, but the building is 3,600 square foot building. I mean 6,600.
6,600 square foot building.
But the property goes all the way around. You could come in the front, you go all the way around. You come in, you pull out, go in one side, and come out the other side.
My question though is, it goes back to my friend Buddy, and Tanya, you chimed in on the last guy. How many spaces would he be required to have with a 6,600 square foot building?
It's 3 per 1,000,
3 per 1,000.
yes.
It's 6,000 square feet.
18,
20.
18 plus.
Yeah.
I got way more than that.
So say 18 to 20 spaces.
Yeah, I got that. Plus, it's go in the back and the other space over there.
But you know, here's my problem with the last guy and this petitioner as well. The size of a regulated parking space in the required access is almost 600 square feet. So when we start to talk about parking spaces and doing a regulated parking space, you have to consider if you're going to do the parking space the right way, it's going to consume more space than what you think. So when you calculate all this into the available square footage that's left after you take the building out of the site, that's what I want to know. How are you going to get these spaces in there? Guessing about 15 is one thing, but mathematically, how does it work? Help me.
Another thing in Smart Code is they do not have to provide more parking than what's on site already.
Then was what? Say that again.
What's on site already? Correct.
I don't know what's on site, but they
That-
don't have to provide any more parking than what's currently on site.
Can he use the street?
Yes, you can use the street.
So he can use South Court
I'm
Street?
not saying he
We're
can
not
use
gonna be
South
using the
Court.
street though.
He can use spaces if they're on the street as towards his parking.
We
So
don't
if-
want to use the street. We just want to use what's
So what?
up there. I said we don't want to use the street. We just want to use what's up
What's
there.
already on the site?
Okay.
How many
What's on the
parking
site?
spaces are already on the site?
I know up there in the front, like I said, I could get 12 to 14 in the parking. You can pull around the building, you got parking all around the back. You go in one side and you come up the back. On the back of the building, I know I could put,
My question though, Tanya, is this. Do the parking spaces on site have to be regulated parking spaces?
yeah.
If they're not restriping or anything, we're not gonna make.
So
them
he's
do
not
it.
required to have a handicap space?
That's up to engineering. I
Well,
would
where's
think so.
engineering?
Yes, he is. You know
I would
the
think so,
answer to that.
yes.
You know
Well, that's
for
what,
sure.
you know, folks, I'm just trying to figure out,
I mean,
how do you apply all of this to this request, just like we tried to fix the last one?
oh, I'm agreeing with your questions.
That's all. I mean, I have
I
nothing,
know they got to have handicap,
of course.
or either a good lawyer. I don't know any of those.
Well, I need the handicap space for myself, so ain't no problem.
Well, then you're gonna need two.
Yeah, I ain't got no problem with that.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Anybody else got any comments? Any questions?
We might have some people in the audience.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer that. Anyone wish to speak for or against this? Yes, sir. If you would come up and give your name and address, please, sir, speak into the mic.
Come to the mic,
The
Gary.
microphone right there. You may have to pull it to you so you can.
Okay, how you doing, man? Good afternoon. My name's Kerry Foster. I own the property across the street from his location, the Mission House,
Yes, sir.
and we use it as a kind of a special events facility where we do corporate meetings, birthday functions, things of that nature. So I'm not really for or against it. You know, I'm certainly not. I'm a CPA by trade, so I'm not going to discourage anyone from going into business. But
Speak
oh,
into
I'm
the mic.
sorry. I'm a accountant by trade. I'm not going to discourage anyone from going in business and making money. But I've spent a substantial amount of money improving and enhancing my property. So I'm for anything that's going to improve the area and enhance what we're trying to do up in that area. And I'm against anything that's going to distract from that.
So, Kerry, the question is the flea market component function that we spoke about.
Right, so I'm definitely opposed to a flea market because the flea market is going to drive the wrong
I got
type
it.
of traffic and the wrong type of crowd. And of course, downtown is not a place, ideal spot for a flea market. So to the extent that it's, retail space is going to bring the right, crowd, right people to that area, then I'm for it. Definitely commercial, there's a need for commercial spaces downtown. Again, parking is an issue. Now, I don't have a problem with Mr. Barnett using my facility across the street to the extent that I don't have something going now. If I've got,
Sure.
30 cars over there and they're full, and I come in and he's got it, then, obviously that'll be a problem, but, it can be coordinated. But again, we just need to be clear as to what the intended use is. That's my biggest thing, what he plans to do with it. If he says he's going to do one thing with it, that's what should happen, but shouldn't be here a couple of months and something else is something else is happening.
He agreed to
Right.
Eliminate he scrapped the flea market component of that, and I think that was the only contention that you had, right?
Right, yeah, that was my issue, yeah. And I know Mr. Barnett, he's...
Well, yeah, it is being utilized now, right? Al? It's being utilized right now. As we're speaking, it's being used right now. For a business, right now. Speak into the mic if you don't mind, please, sir.
Yeah, we had a guy that ran a barber shop, but they was holding us up for us getting our license
Yes.
until we came down here. I got like 3 people ready to come in the building. I couldn't even cover the bill because I ain't got nobody in there. I couldn't open up because of.
But we got a guy in there doing barbers and got a lady
Right,
back
got
here
that back,
doing
right,
salon.
right,
So, I mean, we got businesses working right now.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they're ready to go.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else wish to speak for or against? If not, a motion's in order.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend that we approve the petitioner's request. However, we should qualify that the property should not be allowed to be used for a flea market.
Okay. And he's willing to
I'm just kind of rehashing what he told us.
Okay. All right. Okay. Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay. All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay. It is approved.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everybody.
The next item is by CTC Engineering on behalf of One Stop 72 Liberty. It's a public hearing for development plan for an addition to a building at 1175 West South Boulevard. It's a M1 district.
And this is a development plan, y'all.
Sorry. George Chapman, CC Engineering. We are representing One Stop 72. That's Mr. Sam Swami. Actually buying he bought a purchased an old piece of property, and I use the word blighted area because this is what he does for a living. He goes ahead and buys the undervalued property and tries to start a business in place and then start expanding.
Okay. Any comments?
I can tell you we have plenty of parking.
You're not gonna let that issue be an issue. Okay, George. Any questions?
Is this the old truck stop next to Hardee's?
Yes, sir. It is. It is the. I think it was an old BP station at one time, to be exact. And if you have to talk to Mr. Swami, he loves to run numbers in life, and he told me that this is the only one particular stop through Montgomery. As soon as you pass through coming south, that there's gas. I said, "Are you serious?" And I started thinking. I said, "Yes." The only other stops like downtown Montgomery, the Exxon station. So he strategically saw this location and saw the opportunity. And right now he's in the process of trying to repair and open the building as is, but wanted to do the expansion because he feels like it's going to be a success in this particular area.
It's needed.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other comment or question? Anyone wish to speak for or against, or comments from the public? If not, this is a development plan, and its public hearing has been held.
Thank you.
Thank you, George.
The next item is by Gonzalez Strength and Associates on behalf of Aldi Inc. And it's a public hearing for development plan for a new building at 1568 Eastern Boulevard in a B2 district.
Todd Smith with Gonzalez Strength and Associates, 2176 Parkway Lake Drive, Hoover 35244. We're requesting approval of the development plan for an Aldi.
Pull that up, Todd, if you don't mind. It's hard to.
Requesting approval for development plan for an Aldi grocery store. It's going to be built beside the Best Buy and Woodmere Crossings. There's a vacant building pad area there today. The parking is existing. There's 102 parking spaces on the lot. And so they're just going to build their building there in that the green space right there beside Best Buy.
Okay, and what did you say the business was?
It's an Aldi grocery store.
Okay, I got you. It's what it says on the sheet.
Grocery store.
Okay, I got you. Okay. Anything else? Sir?
No, sir.
Anything else? Any questions, comments? Anyone wish to speak for or against?
How big is this building going to be?
It's just a little bit over 21,000 square feet.
Good. Okay.
All right.
Anything else, Mr. Tate?
That's it.
Okay. This was a development plan, and we officially said that.
Ask audience.
I did ask. And we have officially held the public hearing.
Thank you.
The next item is the plat for the same property. It's by Gonzalez Strength and Associates on behalf of
You're
Aldi.
right back.
That's all right.
Requesting final approval of Woodmere Crossing Plat Number 2 on the south side of Woodmere Boulevard, approximately 145 feet west of Eastern Boulevard in a B2 district.
Todd Smith, Gonzalez Strength and Associates, 2176 Parkway Lake Drive, Hoover, Alabama, 35244. Back again real soon. Just wanted to ask for approval of the final plat. They're going to split. What you see right there in red is lot 1 of the Woodmere Crossings subdivision. We're going to split it into a lot 1B, which is 5.7 acres, and lot 1C, which is 1.61 acres. Lot 1C is for the use of the Aldi grocery store.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Anyone wish to speak for or against? If not, motion's in order.
Move to approve.
Second.
Move to approve in second. You get the order. All those in favor? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The next item is presented by Jeff Code Engineers and Surveyors, LLC, on behalf of HMW Investments, Inc., requesting a waiver to the subdivision regulations and final approval of HMW Investments Plat Number 1, located approximately 260 feet south of Vaughn Road between Payne Road and Ray Thornton Road. It's an Ag 1 district.
I'm Guthrie Jeffcoat with Jeffcoat Engineers and Surveyors. I'm here representing HMW Investments, Inc. And I'm trying to subdivide approximately 5 acres. That's the last bit of undeveloped property in that immediate area of Vaughn and Ray Thornton and Payne. And want to cut it into 3 lots, leave the zoning alone at the present time, and plat it. Would seek your approval.
Okay. Any comment? Questions? Guthrie, make sure I'm getting this right. No access off of Payne Road. Is that?
That's correct.
That's
You know,
correct.
your regulations require you not on a double frontage lots. You can't have access both ways. So it does say that you stay away from the most. I forgot what was one most used, but obviously, to develop this property, you would not want to have your main entrance off of Payne. You'd want to have it off of Ray Thornton Road, and that's what we're asking for the variance.
Okay.
Have driveways, and we've specified, try to, from a traffic engineering standpoint and a safety standpoint, where those driveways have got to be. If you'll notice there, can't just put them anywhere.
Is it going to have to be a decel or anything on that?
Well, it depends on what the development ends up being, and we don't know that because it's going to go on the market and may or may not.
Okay.
Guthrie, do you anticipate this is going to be residential?
I don't know. I mean, it can be, under the present zoning, it can be either residential or ag, but I think there's probably some demand in there for some business across from CVS.
I'm about to say, that's not going to be residential right there, I doubt.
That's what I'm talking about. I sort of doubt.
What do you say, Frank?
I don't think it's going to be residential
Yeah,
right there.
that'd be tough.
That's a tough spot for residential.
So Guthrie, the locations for the proposed driveways for lots 2 and 3, how do they relate to the entrances onto Leavell Way, Level Way, or whatever you call it? They're kind of pinched down against the property line between 2 and 3, and I'm just trying to figure out how does that look coming out of those lots onto Ray Thornton, and how does that react to Leavell Way?
Well, they don't exactly line up with the center line of Level Way, but they come close. You know, you got 35 feet on each one to develop your driveways, and that's a plenty.
Hey, I'm not worried about getting on to the lots 2 and 3. My concern is the relationship of those 2 drives to those existing drives going in the opposite direction. That, to me, seems a bit odd. To force them in there like that and then have the offset to get into Level Way. You don't think that's awkward, Guthrie? Do you think that's awkward?
I'm sorry?
Do you think that's an awkward relationship of the entrances onto the new property versus how they relate to the entrances into the Leavell Way?
I really don't see a lot of traffic from these 2 lots going toward level way. Most, if not almost all the traffic will be going one
Now,
way.
Guster,
of
if you
Raythorne.
don't know what the use is gonna be, how can you decide what the traffic's gonna be?
Well, you go into level way now, it takes you into,
I'm talking about onto lots 2 and 3.
yeah, whatever that usage is, most of the traffic is gonna be to up and down Thornton Road. That's the way back to town or away to the school or whatever.
I hear you, but I'm trying to figure out if there's a way that you can align the drives so that they appear to be in alignment, so that that whole little connection there works better than what's proposed. That's all I'm asking. Or that's what I'm asking. Would you consider revising this so that those entrances would relate to one another a lot better?
Well, yes, we'd be, could have a note of some kind that would leave, of course, it's got control anyhow to the engineering department because you gotta go through the development plan stage.
But all I'm asking is, would you mind changing this to line up?
If you got a suggestion on how you would like for it to be done.
Now, I got a license to practice architecture. I can do that. I don't have a license to practice civil engineering, so I don't do that.
Well, the point right now on Ray Thornton Road is at a point where one of the owners suggested or asked, and that's the reason it's there. It's not a guarantee that it's the best place for it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Governor, just ask you a quick question. When we're gonna see you back in here on lot 1, wanting to combine 1 and 2 and 3 and replat this thing? How quick is that gonna happen?
Buddy, you asked,
Probably true.
that's exactly what I was going to ask earlier.
Because this doesn't work. But
That triangle, you know, I don't know, God made triangles, but Lord have mercy, they're tough with land. You got 60 feet of this piece of lot 1 that you can't, that you got building lines and easement, and a 10-foot easement on.
That's right.
Well,
And the city gets paid each time he does this.
yeah.
well, that's, you know, all right. You know, we, all right. Any other comments? Anyone wish to speak for or against? If not, motion's in order.
Move to approve.
All right, Mr. Cook, is there a second?
Second.
Second, James. All those in favor? All those opposed? So what we won?
Can y'all do that again?
5-3.
5-3?
No, I didn't get 5
All
the
right,
first time.
give me, all those in favor?
That's 4.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, well, all right, all those opposed?
That's 4.
Okay, the clock runs
Okay.
for 30 days.
So he can come back.
This is
No,
just
it
a plat.
go
I'll sign
automatically
it
goes
30
into
days.
effect.
I'm sorry?
I'll sign it in 30 days.
Okay.
It's a plat, that's why we.
Good. We'll see you back after you get a buyer, after they get a buyer for this.
The next item is by Jeff Code Engineer.
Thank you, sir.
And Surveyor.
Hey, Tommy.
Yes.
So when you sign off on this in 30 days, it doesn't matter what comments that we made today, you'll just sign it regardless.
You can only deny a plat for cause.
Well,
Okay. But was it denied or was no action taken?
No action was taken.
So is that denied?
No, sir.
Huh?
I mean, it was not approved.
So no action was taken.
Right.
So you'll just sign it regardless of what we said,
In 30 days, that's what the state law allows.
even though we think that there's some practices that need to be done differently.
It has to be a material reason for denying.
But we didn't deny it. We just said no action was taken.
Right, but you can't hold it hostage. We've got cases that it.
But we're going in, Tommy, we're going in a whole different direction. I'm trying to figure out, regardless of what we said up here, you're going to sign it regardless, without any kind of consideration for the comments that were made.
I think he's aware of the comments, but.
No, I'm talking about what you're going to do. You're going to sign it, right, in 30
Yes,
days,
sir. It won't
regardless
be-
of the comment.
It won't be the first time.
Yeah, I guess the question is, why
Well,
even
why
bring it
the
in?
heck do we even do this?
Because the state law requires a public hearing.
But what's the purpose of the public hearing?
To allow the adjacent or adjoining property owners or anyone else interested in the property might have a vested interest in it.
Right.
Come forward and express their concerns or their, is it a title question or something like that. It's a public meeting.
Okay.
It's required by state law.
Okay. Go ahead, buddy.
I was just gonna comment that what you see on the correction to the next one is what we're gonna have to get on this one later on. And Guthrie brought the correction before we presented the same scenario.
I don't have a correction. What are you talking about?
Well,
You got a handout.
Huh?
you got a hand out. On 7, we're on 7. Yeah. Unless you had something else on 6.
No, sir. I mean, he's gonna sign it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
You think he is?
So why don't we? So why don't we just let him sign 7 too?
Well, he's gonna do that too, because you're gonna approve 7, okay? I know you.
And it won't be the first time.
Jeff Code Engineers and Surveyors on behalf of Alfredo Canal requesting final approval of Canal Plat number 1 on the west side of West McLean Road, approximately 4,300 feet south of Wasden Road. It's an Ag 1 district.
So what's the revision?
We did make some adjustments in the lot lines, and it cost them 1 lot to try to bring it in compliance with the subdivision regulations. So now then, it will meet those regulations and also match some existing houses and field lines that are already on the site.
How do you get to lot 3?
By way of that private access and utility easement.
Help me, get me there. I'm
It's,
my eyes
see
are
the
not-
dotted line up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Coming off the west side of
Yeah,
1.
Yeah, your copy, yeah, it shows it on there now.
I
If you look
got
at that
you.
one.
I got you.
The east side of one.
No, the west side.
The railroad's on the west side.
Well, it's between
It's
isn't that easement between?
No, that's not the easement. You come, there's McLean Road. You can come, turn in.
Oh, I got you. I see.
It varies in width, that private access and utility easement.
I see where you are.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I want to ask Mr. Tyson a question, please.
All right.
I was just told that the public hearing is for adjacent landowners to come and blah, 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 blah. Have the adjacent landowners seen this revised number 7?
Well, property was posted. I don't know if they've seen that. It was advertised and posted.
Well, then my next question is, why am I just getting this 10 minutes before the meeting starts? I have no idea what I'm doing with this item. Why, is this allowed?
Is it allowed?
I mean,
Yes.
this was sitting on my seat when I came here tonight.
Yes, sir. He revised it because it was not in compliance. The first plat he drew was not
So
in-
the package you sent me to my house has something different than what I'm looking at now, is that right?
That's correct.
Had 4 lots.
I'm putting it together on the fly because I'm just now having to analyze this on the fly. But you guys have known this has been changed for how long?
About a day and a half.
Well, then how did the adjacent property owners have a chance to get this understood?
I don't know, Mr. Tate, if you want to carry it over, it's fine with me.
Yeah, I want to carry it over, please, because this is not fair to the adjacent landowners nor the people up here on this panel.
That's fine.
That's just my suggestion, Mr. Chairman, but
Okay.
this is
All right.
not right.
Okay. Guthrie, you got any other comments on this, or do you want to, you hadn't even had a chance to
No, we were
present?
just trying to bring it in compliance by reducing it from 4 to 3 and getting access on the road. But I think, Tanya, it was more than a day and a half that it's been close to 2 weeks that we've made this
Well, Guthrie,
change.
that's even worse if it's been out there for 2 weeks and nothing came to me about the
Maybe it
change.
didn't come to you, but I was talking about my coordination between the planning department and the owner was
I
about 2
understand
weeks
all
ago.
that, but do you understand my point? I just saw this when the meeting started. And adjacent landowners hadn't seen it, so we're just wasting time, in my opinion, until it goes to full cycle for
With all
this to be.
due respect, I think if there were objections to go from 4 to 3, it would be done away with by going to that 3. And I don't know, is anybody here for us or against
Well, they
it?
don't know. They don't know if it's
Yeah,
changed.
the 4 was advertised.
What about the 3?
No, sir.
It wasn't advertised. Was it?
But the 4 was, so why would they not be here for the 4?
But we're considering the 3. That's what I'm trying to figure out. We're not talking apples and apples. One's got 4, the other one's got 3.
I understand.
Thank you.
Okay.
I move to approve if we're ready for that. I move to approve.
Well, I hadn't had anybody else have a comment? Guthrie, thank you for the change. No, wait a minute, we're not through. I just want to tell you, my comment, my notes were, can you reduce to 3 lots? So you did what my comment was to myself. Anybody wish to speak for or against? Yes, sir. Ma'am, you're gonna need to speak. Yeah, give name and address, please.
Bertha Bonney, B-O-N-N-Y, 290 Terry Taylor Road, Hope Hull.
Thank you.
Well, when I was, the lot, I don't know where they're gonna put the other,
Can you go back to the other picture? Yeah, right there.
Can you give her the updated plat?
She's got it.
Oh, have you got one, ma'am?
No, all we got is just sheet of paper. We don't have that.
That's my point exactly, folks. We're wasting time. These people don't know what's going on.
Let's hear them out, though.
Hang on. Take mine.
Take mine. Here you go.
He's got it. Oh, he's all right.
He's got a big So that trailer's already there. That trailer's already there. Now what they want to do is try to develop that there.
oh, develop, that's across the one you want to develop is across the railroad track on the other side?
Both on the same side. Railroad tracks is here, and here's the road. You know, there's a trailer here, a trailer here. They want to develop this part right here.
What do you want to develop it for?
Speak in there, Gus, because we got to pick that up. Give your name and address, please, sir.
Alfredo Cano, 544 West McLean Road, Hope Hull, Alabama, 36043.
Thank you, sir. Okay, now, I'm sorry. Somebody had a comment or a question. Yes, ma'am.
She did.
All right. Would you pull that back down and ask him again, please, ma'am? Thank you.
What are you developing for? Are you going to put a home on it, or are you developing to sell the lots?
Let him answer.
Now give him the
Yes,
mic.
sir. You need to speak into it.
Thank you. Actually, in lot number 1, we are planning to later on, not currently at this moment, develop a home or a shed or a storage, because this is a family-owned property. The only thing that we wanted to divide it to give my brother and I and my parents a separate registered lot, I guess. So the house on lot number 2, that is mine, and the house on number 3, that is my brother.
And ma'am, it's zoned.
Residential.
It's zoned residential agriculture. So I mean, it have to be rezoned if all they're doing is replatting. They're taking that big piece and replatting it into the 3 lots.
Yeah, I understand that, but I didn't know what he wanted to do with it, because I don't think they can bring another trailer in there. They don't even have this little over 4 acres is all they got. I don't know how they can get three things out of it with little 4 acres.
Yeah.
We used to, when we moved out there, we had to have at least 5 acres for each family before we could put a septic tank down. Now, he's gonna have 3 on 4 acres.
Well, it's gonna have to perk. So that's gonna be, he's gonna have to have, huh? What? No, yeah, at one time. But I mean, you've seen them perk, you've seen properties perk on 1 acre too, so.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Here's what I don't understand. The same gentleman, Mr. Canole, is buying both of the triangular shaped lots. Both of them are residential and agricultural use. When I mentioned, are you going to put houses on it, everybody laughed like this is on Ryan Road, like of course it's not going to be houses, but this is the same scenario. Yep. And here's this lady asking if they're going to do houses. He says, oh, my brother's taking one, my father's taking one, I'm taking one. We just approved one. Tommy's going to approve it no matter what we do, but I'm confused as why we have two triangular shaped lots. Mr. Canole, can you answer that? But we can't go backwards, so it's just, that was the previous one, but it's just interesting.
Okay. You want to talk to him about the, Guthrie, you're gonna probably have to help us on the septic tank issue.
Yeah, there's already septic tanks in use and has been for some time on those two that are there.
But that's
See, there are 2 units already out there.
Right, that are, yeah, on lots 2 and 3.
Yeah, sewage is not available.
Okay, so.
And it does meet your requirements for that zoning of minimum of 1.5 acres, and that was what we were trying to get everything in, all your footages and 1.5 acres, and finally got the, with this drawing here.
Okay.
He can't tie into those other systems, can he? He's going to have to create another one.
No, good point. Sir, you do understand what he was commenting on. You're putting in 3, or you already have 2. You already have two septic tanks, right? And in lot 1, you're going to put another septic tank. Is that correct? Well, y'all speak into the thing so we get it.
Yes, it's our intent to do it. It's
That's all that he was commenting on, that wanted to make sure everybody understood that we're going to have 3 septic tanks.
Yeah. Actually, the whole property was, when the survey was done, is 5.2 around acres in that property. So we divided it in, we wanted 4 lots because we wanted to divide it like that, but to meet the requirement, that's why we divided it in 3.
I mean, well, his question, I think, was,
you
do understand that you got to have another.
I didn't hear his
Okay.
question.
All
Can you
right.
repeat it again?
I just made a comment that you can't tie into the existing system. You got to have your own system.
Exactly. We would install a new one.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other comments? Anyone else? Do y'all have anything else sir? All right, sir, do you mind giving your name and address, if you don't mind, and just stating that you were fine with it, if that's what your comment is?
My name is James Bonney. I live at 294 Terry Taylor Road.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
To all y'all, I want you to know that the changes that were made in an effort to try to meet the rules and work with the staff of the planning control department, and not in any way pull the wool over your eyes, Kippy. And we think by going from 4 to 3 and having a new configuration, it would be better.
Guthrie, you missing my whole point.
No, I ain't missing it. I know where you're coming from.
What I got in my packet at my house did not have 3 lots on it. I show up today, it's got 3 lots on it. That's all I'm saying, Guthrie. If you want me to consider something, send me what it is you want me to consider. Don't switch it on me 10 minutes before the thing starts.
And he's not talking about you. That's not what he's talking about.
I'm not talking about you. This whole conversation should not be allowed because it's not been properly advertised for what we're considering tonight. And that's my position. It has not been properly advertised. That lady behind you does not know until she got here that she was looking at 3 lots instead of 4. Am I wrong, ma'am? All right.
Ma'am, do you have another comment or question? Or
No, I don't. Not right now. Do you have one, Jimmy? No. No.
okay, are you satisfied with the answer that you got?
Yes, I'm satisfied with it, but I don't see how in the world they're gonna put a home on there. You don't, unless you're gonna go across the railroad track. Because the one trailer's right up to the road, the other one's back by the railroad track, and where they clean up at is in between. So it looks like they're gonna put a home in between the two trailers. That's what it looks like to me.
Well, it'd have to be on lot one.
Well, that's not. Is that gonna be lot one? Because I don't see how it can be lot one when you got one trailer here and one there, and you're gonna have to put it in between them where they're cleaning up at. Now, the lot one looks like across the railroad track.
Guth, if you don't mind, please, sir. It's good to be across the railroad. It's north of it, but I mean it's to the west. Do you mind showing her on that plat where you're talking about somewhere where they're talking about putting that other unit, please, sir?
That whole side is a railroad track.
Okay.
He's gonna put a unit.
So Tommy, while they're doing that, is it a practice to have these kind of work sessions during this meeting?
Right here, man. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Huh?
I didn't understand what you said.
I can't hear you.
Trailer to the road, right?
I can't hear you,
I
Tommy.
didn't understand what you asked me.
I'm asking you, this work session that's going on while we're having our planning commission meeting, I mean, how is this allowed?
Well, this is not the first time we've had a last-minute change, but if you're disturbed because you don't think the public had enough notice
I don't think the public had enough notice. A day and a half is not enough notice.
That's fine. I mean, if you want to
But everybody's got to vote, but I'm just simply saying this practice is just ill.
All right, y'all, we're gonna wind this up. Yeah, you saw where he's talking about the number, okay, and that does make sense now because it's not. Do you mind saying if you got a comment, please, ma'am, just make it in that microphone where it can be.
You got anything else to say?
No, he's gonna keep it.
No. No,
Y'all are
I'm
good.
good, yes.
Y'all are fine. All right, sir. Thank y'all so much. Anybody else have a comment? If not, motion's in order.
Which
Move to
motion?
approve.
Talking about my motion to approve.
Yeah, if you don't mind, make it again.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Who was that? All right. All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Motion. All right.
Next item is by Goodwin Mills and Kaywood. It's on behalf of the venue at East Chase, Lot 1, public hearing for development plan for new building on the north side of East Chase Parkway, approximately 350 feet east of Sealis Drive in a PUD district.
I don't know if I want to come up here. I'm Judy Jones with Goodwin Mills and Kaywood. We're actually showing these in three different, it's going to be all developed together. If you've been out there, if you're familiar where it is, it's next to the Hampton Inn. But it's going to be all constructed together as far as all the stuff, but each one of, the reason we have three, well, I guess y'all have it, three separate development plans is so that as whoever the tenant or whoever's going to be developing the property, it may all come in different stages. So they're all being submitted and approved through all the departments separately.
Okay. Any comments? Any questions? Anyone in the audience wish to speak for or against?
We're doing all three of them?
No, well, we're gonna do all three of them. We're gonna do them singly.
Okay.
I guess we could take it. Has anyone here wished to speak against any of these three? Then
I only have one question. Just did y'all have to remediate any of that land?
What do you mean?
With the way,
wetlands
was
and
it?
stuff?
Yeah.
I think that was one of the areas over here, where am I? Where they had to kind of add some of the additional over here because of the wetlands back here. But they are meeting all the requirements that they have to.
Got it.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
Are they going to be able to build that building on top of that sewer line
The
that goes right on on lot 2.
Hold on a minute.
That
Get my
easement.
glasses on.
The easement on, underneath building on lot 2. There's a restaurant there.
I don't know if they're gonna require them.
Tell her to speak into the mic.
Speaking to the mic.
Judy, if you don't mind speaking there, I'm sorry, we,
What's on what the plat says?
Sewer line runs underneath the building.
I'm not sure if they've gone through all the process with what water and sewer have said. They've had no objections yet. And it may be that, I don't know. But I'm sure that if, once, that question I cannot answer, because that has not been addressed to the engineer that there was a problem with it, so I'm not sure.
The guy who builds it takes the risk.
okay, y'all, what we'll do on this is we'll take lots 1, 2, and 3 at one time, and that's what, that's really what we're doing anyway. That's the reason I asked, was there anyone that objected to any of these? So any questions that you might have on lot 1, lot 2, or lot 3? Any comments? Judy, did you have anything you would like to say on 2 and 3?
No, sir. And of course, I'm not privy to any of the information as far as
Grab
what
that.
type of.
Grab that, I'm sorry. That microphone. Bless your heart.
I'm not privy to, there's like confidential agreements and everything about whoever that's actually going to be locating in this area. But I know that they are talking to some restaurants and retail here and retail back there too.
Okay.
Or you were asking about 2?
Well, no, what we're doing is taking 1, 2, and 3 all at one time.
Okay.
So any, we're clustering them.
It's called armor buster, is what it's called.
Okay.
And there is an existing access easement. This was put
Judy,
in.
I apologize. I've got to ask you one more
Daggone,
time.
I keep forgetting. There is an existing access easement. Actually, it was put here whenever the Hampton Inn was built. So everyone will have access, and there will be no access fronting East Chase Parkway.
Okay. Any comments? Any questions? Okay. This was a public hearing, and it was a public hearing for lots 1, lot 2, and lot 3 ventures at East Chase. We will say that we have had the public hearing. So we will now be on item number 11, which is the plat for this property. Did I say that right, Judy?
Yes.
Speak into that microphone, girl.
I have to put one on my chest here.
You need it.
There may be possible, because I see that there's a water and sewer easement down here. It may be possible that they may be working on possibly having to vacate the easement where the building is, but I do not know that for sure. But it is the 3 lots for the separate development plans that have been submitted that were just discussed. And it does show the access easement.
Okay. Any additional that you want to speak about the plat itself?
No, sir.
Okay. Anyone have a comment, question? Anyone wish to speak for or against? All right. Again, we're on item number 11. All those in favor? Excuse me. Motion's in order. I'm sorry.
Move to approve.
Move to approve. Clay. All those. Second. Is there a second?
Second.
Jerome. Second. All those in favor? Thank you.
Next item is by Goodwin Mills and Kennywood on behalf of Davis Land Holdings LLC. It's a request for final approval of cottages at Lockwood, plat number 8, located on the west side of Lockwood Place at Lockwood Lane in a PUD district.
And I'm gonna have to recuse myself on this.
On this particular plat, I did have to revert back to the markers. Because what is existing that is platted, the remarks had here that 6 lots, going into 9 lots. However, this was plat 3 that's already been platted. This was plat 4 that the planning commission's already approved but not recorded. This was plat 5 that the planning commission approved but not recorded. So actually, we're reducing 5 lots. So that actually it's going from 14 lots to 9 lots. The lots are actually going to be larger. That makes any sense? It's just that what's currently platted but not recorded.
So density is going to go down.
Correct. Correct.
By how much?
It's the same area, but the size is going to be different.
The sizes are increasing.
Right, right.
So someone mentioned the density is going down. By how much?
Well, 9 lots.
Would it be
For instance, plat 3 was recorded with 4 lots. It's being reduced to 2.5 lots. And it's kind of like that way the whole way. They're actually increasing the size of the lots.
I got that. I got it.
Any more comments? Any comments?
I don't believe it's by 9 lots.
I don't understand. You're saying the remark says that you're taking 6 lots and you're going to make 9 lots out of it. How is that increasing the size of each lot?
And Tommy might have to help me, because as it exists, that is recorded. What is recorded is the 6 lots. This property right here, plat 3, was recorded with 4 lots. The property here that was remaining was another plat. I'm not sure the exact name of, this was the property that was left. We came to the planning commission, and when we came, we had, how many did we have, Tanya? 6, 7 different plats? These 2 plats were the only 2 plats that we had not recorded. Approved by the planning commission, but not recorded. Therefore, that's why, I know it sounds crazy. I mean, I even called and said, wait a minute, we're not increasing, we're decreasing. And that's the way it was explained to me as well. Does that make sense?
Do you understand, Cruz?
Okay, I'm with you.
No.
Thanks for your help. I'm with you.
Okay, okay.
Okay, that makes
Lot.
sense.
Their townhome, there were two of the bigger unplatted lots, quote unquote.
Over in here?
Right, were just bigger, and so when you reduce the density, you're just replatting the 2 bigger lots.
Right.
That originally had higher density, so the math is flipped. So you're taking townhome style lots and making them bigger, is basically what this is. Does that make any sense?
So are you changing only the ones in green?
We're changing all of them, because this part right here, this was recorded. What's in pink here was recorded as 4 lots. Well, I guess the reason I outlined it is because where this was 4 lots, it's now 2.5 lots. Okay? So they're replatting this, adding in it to this, and making it all one.
Mm-hmm. But my paperwork, the way I count, it's 10 lots. The lines are not distinct on here, but
I counted 12, so there's some confusion. Did you guys advertise this in the neighborhood?
Yeah,
it is 12.
Was it advertised, I guess? Was it
We
advertised
notify
properly?
all adjacent and adjoining property owners.
Okay.
The
And there's
signs are
nobody
up.
here that's opposing? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because if there's 12 that I count, and if you subtract them, there's not a reduction of 9, there's a reduction of 6 to get
And
to
it
the
may
4.
be that you, because I actually pulled the plats that we had submitted and got approved
Yeah.
and counted those lots for each one of them. Okay?
Yeah.
And so those lots 3, 4, and 5, that was gonna be 3, 4, and 5, has been now changed from what was gonna be a total of 14 lots down to now 9 lots.
I move to approve.
Second.
I knew there were gonna be questions on this.
Wait a minute. Do we have any more questions? No. Do we have any more comments? All right, a motion is in order.
I move to approve.
Second.
The motion was made in second. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Motion carries.
All right, motion carries.
Thank you.
The next item is by Goodwin Mills and Kaywood on behalf of Lado Developers LLC, requesting final approval of Wildwood and Taylor Lakes Plat Number 4 on the north and south end of Blevins Circle, approximately 620 feet north of New Harvest Drive. It's a PUD district.
We are asking approval of these 38 lots that are in compliance with the master plan that has been approved.
Is any of this property zone floodplain? It sure is low out there, some of it.
What the engineering said.
Okay.
Yes.
It is.
Well, there's a note here, right here, the 100-year floodplain that goes through here.
I have a question. How do you plan, the construction work and the trucks and all that, how are they coming into that? How do you plan to bring them into that area?
Personally, I have not seen the construction plans, so I don't know. They usually have an access off of one of these other areas. I do not know where that area is.
They're going to be coming through.
But they're not. There is not an access other than coming straight down New Harvest.
I cannot answer that question.
Blevins Circle is just gonna curve around.
Is the new part, is that gonna be a part of the association that's the present part on Blevins?
The current homeowner association? Yes, sir. And it's for meeting the requirements of 65-foot lots, 20-foot front, 25 rear, and 5-foot sides.
Is that what the lot size are presently?
Right.
In there? Did you have a meeting with the association, a public hearing?
Tanya, this is part, and I wasn't here at the last meeting, and I apologize. Cedric is moving his son to college. But this came before the commission, and then it came back, correct? Because there were issues?
I don't recall this one.
Not this one, no.
No.
Okay. Then I'm,
So you don't know if there was a meeting with the association?
I do not.
Come on up, David.
It was advertised, but I don't know if there was a meeting or not. I'm sorry. Hey.
David Brewer, and I'm, for this, and, this is basically what the plan was for the area. It's same size lots. One of the questions was, I think, access to it.
Yes.
Was that correct?
Yes.
That someone asked? I know that the owner has a warehouse back that comes off of Troy Highway. He also has some other land. So, we haven't gotten into discussion about it, but I think the contractors talked about setting up over next to the warehouse off of the Troy Highway. But this is just a continuation of what's already been done. It's not changing the size of the lots. It's just extending, what has already happened out there. And it does follow the plan that was submitted before.
But did you talk to the people? Did you have a public hearing on it and talk to the homeowners in the area? Because I talked to them and they were.
I know that we sent the department a list of all the adjoining property owners. They posted signs, and I don't know what type of, if they would have had any people call with any problems, we would have heard about it and we would have addressed them. But we did not get any of those calls.
You know, I'm gonna make this comment just because we have dealt with it several times in the last 10 years. And the question of accessibility always comes up, and rightfully so. But at the end of the day, these are public streets with public access, and that the public, whether it be a concrete truck or whether it be a person in a vehicle, has the right to use those public streets. I think what David is trying to say, and David, I'm not talking for you, and I'm just making a comment here. It sounds to me like that what they're trying to do is maybe have accessibility for construction off of the Troy Highway and to the west part of this lot of this PUD. But as far as having the right to utilize and bring it, they have the right.
No, I'm not talking about the right. What I'm talking about is the people that live on New Harvest. Have you discussed with them what is coming, whether there's going to be trucks coming down in the morning, coming down in the afternoon and stuff? That's my concern, because I talked with them and they weren't aware of that. And there was, and quite frankly, there was some other issues they weren't aware of. So my comment is there any way you could have a public meeting with them and kind of clear the air?
This is part of the overall master plan that was approved.
I understand that.
And once everything's posted, unless there's a problem, it's not, we don't.
Well, that's what I'm trying to prevent, it being a problem and it being miscommunication and with that kind of thing. So all I'm asking you is there any way you can bring it up? You can get with them, talk with the people live in that area, especially those on New Harvest, and explain to them and come back next month with it. That's all I'm asking.
James, Tommy's gonna sign it anyway. So
it's posted. It's posted at this end of New Harvest. There's a sign posted on the.
Well, I saw the sign. The sign. I saw two signs. One was on one corner, one end of Blevin, and the other one was on the other end of Blevin, behind some trees. Now, I saw the signs about the calling downtown and all of that. Do you live out there? Do you want to come up?
Well,
let me make sure.
Finish the comments up here.
Okay,
and then
okay.
we'll.
And my thing was, from talking to some of the neighbors and stuff, would you be, well, let's see what somebody that lives out there have to say, but kind of think about that for a second.
I guess.
I have a question though. It's only required to notify the adjacent property owners. That's the only notification.
Yes.
By law. And there's only 8 of them. So the folks along New Harvest that you're talking about, they're not necessarily required to be notified.
No, I'm not talking about. Okay, I take that. I understand.
I mean, I'm just telling you what they told me.
To be honest with you, there's only 2, which is on the corner of at the end of Blevins on both sides of that.
I will say, Mr. Reed, I will say this. Whatever his problems are or whatever his comments are, we'll be glad to take that back to the engineer. He would sit down and talk to him. He would go out there with him. But as far as,
don't y'all leave.
I guess maybe
It's the last one.
I guess what I'm trying to say, if this was a packed room and people had a problem with it, but whoever's here, we will address whatever his comments are, and we can make arrangements to physically meet with him.
Oh, we're going to listen to what they are.
Go ahead.
Is there any other comment?
Yeah, I want to ask one question from David. Is the owner of the warehouse that comes off Troy Highway, does he own the contiguous piece of land to both of those parcels where he could establish a construction entrance?
Speak in, David.
Jerome, I'm not sure how it all ties together. I know that the guy that's doing some contracting work out there has asked for permission to park on that property next to the warehouse off the Troy Highway. He does have land over there. Is it Halstead's office? He's got a tract of land over there that also accesses the neighborhood. But I mean, I haven't seen a plan drawn where they're going to access in there, but you know, really all we're doing is continuing what's been going on out there. It's the same size lots. It's a development plan that my understanding was approved earlier, the master plan. So we're not changing.
Right.
We're just asking to move forward. And the problem they had in the past had to do with an apartment development. It was not residential. It had to do with an apartment site out there. So, you know, we're not trying to change it.
Okay.
Right, I understand.
Okay. Any other comments?
You have comments?
All right. You gonna do this or you want me to do it?
I'm sorry.
All right. Anybody wish to speak for or against it? All right, sir. Come on up. Come on up, give your name and address if you would, please, sir.
My name is Martin Ellis. I live 5705 Blevin Circle. And I guess I'm not for or against. I just wanted to see basically what's going on when I got the letter. Based on what you were saying, Mr. Reed, I'm not sure if there were any things that were addressed that I'm not abreast of. I just got back from training not too long ago, so I do remember one of the guys from the Homeowners Association bringing something up to me, but I'm not sure if it was anything having to do with this though.
You need to speak into the microphone.
Let's see here. The second.
I'm moving.
When you make a right on Blevin.
I'm gonna give him an opportunity to speak. Judy, grab that mic. Just hold on to it. And speak.
What I was saying, where he showed me where his home is on this side, correctly. So Mr. Henderson owns this property. I'm not saying a truck may not come in front of his house, but everything's going to be going on behind him.
Okay. Sir, is that any other comments or questions?
Okay. And so is there going to be something that is going to, basically the construction is going in on that west end, coming back that way?
Show me which part you're talking about.
So you're saying
this is what
from Troy Highway they're going to go this way, up this way?
They're gonna, the plan is, and correct me if I'm wrong, David. Correct me if I'm wrong, David, but they're going to try to set up their construction back here as far as where they're gonna be coming in. Am I correct?
You know, I haven't looked at it to see exactly how it ties in. I know that the guy that has.
Into the mic.
You know, the man that's gonna do the developing, you know, the equipment stuff's gonna be over there by the warehouse. I mean, I couldn't tell you something's not gonna drive down the street. This is a developing area, you know, over on the other end as well as this end. I mean, it's an area that's continuing to develop, but I do know that they've requested to park equipment over there to the left of his warehouse, and he does have some land over there next to Mr. Halstead that comes in, you know, on the side of one of those stubborn streets back toward the rear. But
okay, y'all.
Show me again which one was yours, because this property right here is in an area that's not going to be.
Yeah. I'm either this one or this one.
Okay, well, you won't have something backing up to you, because this is going to be the open area for, I think, storm or.
there's some woods back in there. They're gonna leave.
So yours will not be affected by a house or backing up to your lot.
Yeah, we're not. Okay. It's gonna be small.
According to where you tell me you live.
Sir, thank you for your
sir.
service.
Appreciate it. Okay. Any other questions? Any other comments?
I have one more comment. Go ahead. No.
Does this have anything to do with the builder?
No.
Do you have
No.
any influence over who builds out there?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
One more thing.
All
One
right.
more thing, buddy, and I'll let everybody go. Do you want to bring it back next month, or do you want to vote tonight?
Well, we would prefer that it go ahead and vote on and ask that whoever you know or needs some questions answered or something addressed to please let, you know, I can give you my card or whatever, and the engineer will actually meet with the person or whoever.
I would like your card, because I know some people that are concerned about it.
But all I can say is we've met our obligation.
Right, I understand
So-
that. I understand that.
Okay. Motion's in order.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. All those opposed? Okay. 4 and 2.
Another signature, Tommy.
Tommy will sign it.
30 days.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Could I have your card, please?
All right, we'll adjourn. Next meeting is on the 23rd. Oh, that's today. It's sometime next month.
It's in your packet.